Sorry, I think my audio settings were.
Yeah, we're
Screen.
going live right now. Yeah, we should be live. I think. Let me check. Let me double
I pop up in
checks.
the middle of a Street Fighter game. Shit.
You're training for the big day when I beat you.
That's the big day.
Yeah, that's cute. I like Japan.
That's so funny.
It's really
All
cool.
right, yeah, you're live.
Yeah, we're live now. Hello, everyone. Today, joining me is Kaylin Chalk, Michael Young, and Jen. How do you say your last name, Jen? I don't know. Fiddler? Fiedler.
Fiedler.
Fiedler. It's real German.
Yeah, that's right. German name.
Nine stuck in blacken.
Cutting it close there.
Yeah. Oh, we got Trisha watching. Okay, hey, David. David Martinez is up in there. David, do I have you on Skype? I don't think I do. You should join us one day. Anyway. Lighting. Someone wants a request already. Is that Arabic? The name? Dang, that's dope. Alright, hold on, let me put it onto the screen so we can see what's up. Yeah, I'll do a little lighting demo. Sure. So yeah, and then any requests on what to draw? Anything? Nothing too crazy. Well, actually, Mike suggested a cat the other day. Giovanni,
Don't do.
my deep voice, huh? Trogdar, dragon thingy. I'll draw some sort of dragon thingy. Yeah, my deep voice is actually a symptom of my disease that I have. The thing that I'm going to get surgery for. Apparently, like the doctor was like, he's like, "Do you have big hands and feet?" I'm like, "I do, enormous." She's like, "Cool, cool. Did your feet get any bigger in the last few years or anything?" And I'm like, "They have." She's like, "Cool, cool, cool." And I can tell you have a deep voice. So, you have this. And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, because basically, based off of the stuff, it's like the thing that this affects like all the stuff that like grows, especially like my nose and ears and all that kind of other stuff. But I guess she wasn't too worried about that. But yeah, my deep voice might go away after the surgery. Not entirely, obviously, but it might not be as deep as it is. But it's definitely, I'm fine with that.
That's
Especially
like
if I
such
get
a
rid of-
strange thing.
Yeah, I thought so too. But I'm sick of these headaches, so I'm cool with it.
Priorities.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
You're not a rap star. You're not Future, so you're not making money on your deep voice.
Yee. Yee.
Although we should ask the chat that. Did you guys just come here for his deep voice? Is that what you're here for?
No, Denzel does.
Yeah.
I bet Denzel right now is eating some potato chips too. Because he's always eating. So how you been? Jens?
I'm tired. I'm working on some robots.
Oh, cool.
Uh,
That's cool.
watching the stream and enjoying the deep voice. At least as long as I can.
We found him. We found him.
Yeah, Jens is a really awesome artist. If you have a chance, you should post your stuff on the
Yeah,
chat
can you
so
drop a
we can check
link
it out.
on the chat? Yeah.
Like in the Facebook stream, so people can check it out. Yeah, he's once a student, now the master. He's really good. You're hooking up some of the students too at work. I remember, or you're like reaching out to some students, which is cool. Really cool of you. And he's doing Google Hangouts too with people as well, which is really cool again.
Yeah, but you never joined, so
Yeah. Well, I don't join anybody's Google Hangouts, so I have like my other friends wanted me to join in their stuff. I rarely do. If I ever am gonna paint, it's usually the streams. But you know what? It'd be cool to like do a stream where I do the Google Hangout and hang out with people. You know, and do the stream at the same time, like someone like you and Kaylin, like kind of get everybody painting at the same time. I'm putting too much effort into this. I should just draw a thing. Let me just do that. So we can talk about the lighting demo. Trogdor! Yeah, what about you, Kaylin? What are you up to since we got back from Italy?
Sorry, I was feeding my dog a treat. What have I been up to? Sleep.
Dude, I've been sleeping crazy since I got back too. I feel like I
Yeah,
haven't fully recovered from that trip.
yeah, my sleep schedule is like really off. Like usually, Jacqueline wakes up super early, and I'm just always like passed out. And I started waking up early, and she's like, "I don't like this. Like you're up before I am, and you're bugging me." And I'm like, But I'm slowly getting back into my sleep schedule. But now it's just back to work as usual. So just working on some personal stuff. Work, clients, all that kind of fun stuff. And now, working with Phoenix, is that her name? Helping her
Yeah.
today. Most of my time actually was spent with her today, trying to get some of that stuff,
Cool.
just the particulars figured out, and what we would need, and what we can based off our trip in Italy. Things that we would need to make sure that things go as smoothly as possible, so that possibly next year we could be in Japan or other places. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's been about. Luckily, it was very actually easy, I think, to talk about that kind of stuff because of how successful and positive Edge Control was. So. Edge Control and Barcelona have kind of provided kind of from a reference of how workshops that are done correctly are done, and how
Well, even Brazil, you weren't there for that one, but that one's really good. Lucas too.
Brazil
Yeah.
failure. I wasn't there. Okay, anyways, but yeah, just anything that's run by our students. So kind of using that as kind of like this kind of that standard of what we'd be looking for, and kind of showing them, photos from the event, testimonies from the event, that kind of stuff. Just kind of helps put everything into a much easier perspective for her to make that happen. So,
Sure.
so that's definitely kind of a shout outs to our students that have made these workshops happen by themselves, essentially. Which kind of seems impossible, but it's not. And even talking to our friend Roberto from Italy, it definitely seems like it's more and more a possibility that we could possibly go back to Italy and do a workshop just with us, like just with the Robot Pencil crew, and then run it the way that we can run it to make sure that it's the best possible thing, the best possible product.
Yeah, we
So
should go to Germany, gents.
Germany,
Yeah.
great. I love Germany.
I would love to help you. So if you need anything except money, feel free to help.
Well, that's the thing. We do it so that the money is comes to
Goes
the
back to you
actual
guys.
event. Yeah. Because
Germany would be great.
Yeah, because the way that we do it is we don't take a dime, really. We just have the students keep the money if there's any extra money there. But if we usually encourage them to try to host parties, try to get some sort of merchandise, even cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then because for instance, Edge Control is probably a good example. Like Denzel and Zabby pretty much created a business. They said, "Can we like own this event? Is that cool?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, there's no problem there." So that's what they decided to name it Edge Control and take ownership of it. And we were absolutely fine with that. See, for us, it's really important just to travel and talk to people and help spread the word and really, inspire people, really. Yeah. And then the monetary value of it is obviously just the idea that more and more people know who we are and get to meet us, right? So the benefit for us as the instructors for going there, although we don't get paid, is that we get to meet this people who potentially want to be students of ours in the future, right? Because it changes when you meet people in person, right? Dramatically, the scope of how they react. And so for us is like clear, it's like aside from the obvious, like we really care about people and try to help. There's obvious like benefits for us as well. So it's not like it's a win-win-win-win, right? Because the students get to have these teachers come and visit them and host an event that might be something that they feel responsible for and that they take pride in. And then it's a win for us because we get to meet the students, and then it's a win for the actual people who attend because they get to also meet the people that they, would have never met any other way, right? And it's really cool. Like, even one of the students at the Italy trip was just like, he's like, "It's crazy that you guys are even hanging out with us after the event." It's like, "Yeah, why not?" He's like, "Dude, other artists here, like, they'll just like teach and then just roll out. They just don't even they don't even bother hanging out, and so that sucks. It's like, what's the point? Like, we're here for you guys. It's a big deal. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, it would be dope to go to Germany. I've been to Berlin one time, and my brother was stationed there for military, and I had a great time in Germany. So I like the culture. Most people speak English. Good chocolate, good beer. I mean,
A lot of beer.
yeah,
What more could you need?
yeah. What more can you need? I remember one time I went to like a draft house, and it was like a famous beer place, and I asked for like a Miller Lite, and they just stared at me. But I was joking, obviously. I was like, "Can I get a Bud Light?" And they're just like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, kidding. I'm totally kidding. Don't kill me. And then you realize how shitty beer we have in America compared to out there.
No, we got good beer. We got good beer.
We do.
We're fine.
But when you go out there, definitely Germany. There's some really good beer out in Germany.
I believe you.
That's some good stuff. And
Yeah.
chocolate. They have good chocolate. Right, that's that one time I brought home that Hennessy chocolate for Nino. I got that in Germany, actually.
Nice.
So some good alcoholic chocolate. Can't beat that.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, if anyone has any questions, by the way, feel free to ask. We'll have Mike moderate. He's very helpful at moderating.
Sorry, I'm back.
What?
Were you talking to
You're
me?
fired.
You talking about me?
You
I'm
are
sorry.
fired.
Mom was leaving to her boyfriend's house. I had to say bye.
Nope.
Anyway, all I heard was moderation. So, am I checking the chat? Because I see
Yeah,
some
please.
questions.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. First one I'm seeing is, can you rap a bit?
Can I rap?
I think that one's my fault.
Yeah, I could rap.
Oh god.
Kalen, drop a beat.
No, that's it. That's what I can. Just not rap.
Okay. All right. Moving on. So Trent said, "Hey guys, it's a bit overwhelming deciding what to focus on with 3D and 2D. What do you think is most worth pursuing for the future of content creation?"
Just try both. There's plenty of time, dude. Like, are you gonna die tomorrow? Like, the pressure, I guess, it makes sense if you think you only have a year to live, right? Or, I mean, if you spend a year really focused on trying to master your 2D, or even let's take it like, if you spent 3 years truly trying to master your 2D, you'll be pretty good at it, especially nowadays with all the information that's out there, right? And if you spend 3 years right after that working on 3D, you'll be really good at that as well, right? Or you could do off and on, right, for 6 years total, right? Either way, there's plenty of time. Like, what's the hurry, right? And plus, I usually tell people to focus on stuff like design, right? Because that's the kind of stuff that evolves with technology. You know, technology is constantly growing, and it's important to have like a really strong foundation in most things. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people are so worried about, well, what should I learn 3D or should I do this? And it's like, yeah, you should learn every it all. You're like, there's no reason why you can't learn it all. But what you should do is just focus. That's the real key. Here is just focus on one though, and don't jump onto the next one until you feel a little bit more comfortable, right? Jens is a good example of this, actually. Jens was like mostly into painting and photo bashing, I believe, and then you start getting into 3D too, right? But then
right now.
yeah, and it's just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, there's plenty of time, right? Like, how old are you now, Jens? I know you're like
31.
yeah, you're in your 30s like me. Yeah, so you're fine. You're still relatively young. You know?
I'm kind of late.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm 32, right? And I'm still young. Like, we're still young, you know?
He's hip enough to stream. I said you're hip enough to stream.
Yeah, dude.
It's a young thing.
My kids
It's a
are
young
cool.
person.
My kids think are cool.
Good.
And so it's just like, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time. Like, don't get caught up with distracting yourself. That's what it is. It's just a distraction. Because what happens is that you start to paint, and I should be learning 3D, and then you go to do 3D, I should be painting, and you just never really stick with anything, and that's actually the mistake. It sounds like a good it sounds like a good distraction or it sounds like a positive problem, but it's actually a negative problem, right? Because whatever stops you or makes you second guess yourself uh, usually makes you start to not paint or work, really, right? So you should stop doing that. You should just get to work and just start doing stuff. And the next thing you know, you might be a badass at it. You know, it's not a lot of there's no one holding you back on doing either. But I usually tell people to generally focus, especially like on whether it's characters or environments or illustration or character illustration or um, mechs versus vehicles. Pick up one of those types of things for sure, right? And then even then you can still kind of come back and change your mind on that stuff, right? Like you can always like become a character guy after you've done environments for a while. But the thing is at least you have the environments under your belt, or you have the characters under your belt, you know? All right, so I'm gonna talk about lighting for a bit, since someone asked about it. All right, so this is something I talk about all the time in my class, and usually my students, even after I've told them this several times, I have 100 ways to explain this predicament to people, and this is one of those 100 ways. Is that I think most people understand lighting. What it is that they don't understand form. Okay, that's really the problem. Form is the problem. And what I mean by this is that, you can have a shape like this, but it doesn't have any form. Unlike the shape like this, right? This shape, number 2, or letter B, shape B has form to it, or has an opportunity to have form, because you can see we can go here and we can light it, right? Where this one, I guess it could if you considered it like a top-down pyramid or something like that, right? But it's flat then. We're looking at it flat. Like there's no way of knowing that's a pyramid from that perspective. It's kind of pointless, right? Or it could be a tapered-in rectangle. Again, pointless, right? And so usually what happens when people start to paint is that they'll have this problem, which is problem A, which is they have shapes that are two-dimensional, or they'll have problem B, which is they have three-dimensional shapes, but they don't understand their form 100%. They still look at it as a two-dimensional shape. Case in point, I'll prove to you that you understand your lighting. If there's a light coming straight down onto this cube, kind of where this arrow is actually. First one to guess this, you're awesome. But where would light be hitting if the light was coming straight down from the top? Anybody's willing to throw in, they can go for it. Oh yeah, there's a delay. So Mike,
A, B, and C.
A, B, or C. Basically, most of you are going to say this is going to be correct. I don't have to wait for you guys. Yeah, someone already did it, which is A. Okay? Obviously, right? And if I said it came from the side, it would be C. If I said it came from this side, it would be B. If I said it came from this corner, it would be A and B. So you understand how light works, right? People understand that. It's just they don't understand how form works. Or they don't understand the forms in which they're painting. Okay? So I can show you an example of this. So let's imagine now the cube is just this, right? And if we were going with the top light, what I end up seeing whenever people were to light this, they do this, which is that they'll light the top, kind of like that, right? And that's like clearly incorrect. It's just like you're just tracing the forms. You know what I mean? You're not really painting the form. You're just tracing the shape. Because if the light on the top is more like this, it's like it's clearly lighting the top side, which is A, right? And if there's a bounce light, it's going to bounce back up and maybe light side B and C. It's really that simple. So what really the problem is that you don't know where your light is coming from, or you don't understand the form you're lighting. So going back to this like weird kind of like Birdman penguin, there's a really easy way of screwing this up. Is just painting the light like right here and thinking that that's good, or like just ignoring lighting in general and just do stuff like this, which is like light everything equally, right? Which is like then you really don't give two damns about where the light and form are working together. You have like no idea what's going on. So I'm gonna just do like a top-down light, because someone said Darko Markovic is better from 48 degrees of show, and that's what I see all the time. And designers are using wrong type of light. No, it doesn't matter where the hell you put the light source. In fact, I think the most dramatic light sources are the most minimal and the most direct, like straight coming from the top down. Right? I'll just do one right now. So I'm gonna put down a shadow layer, just make everything dark and shadowy. Cute. I'm gonna do a vivid light layer. And then I'm going to go ahead and mask that off. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint with like a standard brush. And be pretty aggressive about this top-down light. And we can make this brighter too. There you go. We'll keep the line right there. Right? And the light is coming straight from the top. And you just got to understand your forms. And I understand kind of the musculature of this thing, and I just have my wits to try to help me get through this in terms of understanding the forms. If you have a hard time painting your forms, you should probably draw like a diagram. A diagraph? What the hell? Making up words? A diagram, or like a geometry kind of drawing on top of it. That will help you understand kind of where your forms are coming. What was that? It's like
that was the weirdest noise ever.
It was like a Wookiee. Like it was that Chewbacca? Did you hear that?
That didn't come. That wasn't me. That must have came from your side.
No, it wasn't me. I heard it from.
It was Jen's.
It was Jen's. What was that, Jen's?
He's harboring.
I can't tell you.
He's harboring Wookiees. Let's say this hand is like coming out to us a little bit. Anyway, yeah, you can start to see if I were to put this hand out. But actually, I don't think I want to do that. I think I just want to have it just straight up top down. I'll deal with the bounce light to get some forms on this other parts. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's really that simple. Just like really understanding your forms and where your forms are coming from. Like maybe these feet. Right? And what's cool is that, like, with this layer, I can, like, change it up. But I like what's doing right there. I'll just lower it down a bit. And then I can make another vivid light layer. And what I can do with this one is that this one can be, this one could be the bounce light of the same light source coming back up. Right? Lower it down a bit. Yeah. And I need to control click this so I can get that mask. Yeah, and you can just do the bounce light, which is basically just the same light just bouncing off the ground or something. And I can just subdue it. But all I'm doing is paying attention to the forms. That's all I'm doing, homie. That is it. Like, the more you understand your forms, the easier it is to do this type of stuff. Wait, who's typing? I can hear like someone typing like a monster.
My bad.
Jesus.
I'm talking to Zabby.
Yeah, it's fine. You have your right to type to people. It's just like so loud.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like yeah. Like it sounds like your. I bet it's like your mic is mounted to your desk, and so it's like you can hear every little recoil.
That could be it. No, well, maybe.
Well, is your mic mounted to your desk?
Yeah, it's mounted to my desk.
You need to get one of those. What you call it? It's like what. I'm not sure what they're called.
Well, no, it's a. You see my mic stand? It's connected to it, but it's like one of those like robotic arm things where it folds, so it's floating.
Yeah,
but it's mounted to the side, so it's not really an issue if I type.
I got the same thing.
No,
Yeah.
it's like you need like a cushion, like a dampener. That's what it is.
Oh, are you talking about a dead cat?
Yeah, because like, can you hear my keyboard? You can probably hear my fingers.
You mean that
stuff.
thing that
Your
they have
keyboard's
when
fine.
artists like rap and stuff, right? Is that thing you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Well,
Yeah, I have-
it
I have
depends.
a-
That's like
I have
outside
it.
though, mostly.
Yeah, can you hear my?
There's like a
keyboard?
foam sleeve.
All right.
Radio personalities use it too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, dude.
that hasn't been an issue before. Maybe I'm just typing super loud right now. Okay.
People
It
have
kind of
just
sucks.
been
I have a
polite.
mechanical keyboard.
People
So
have been polite. That's
always-
all.
anyway,
I just
continue.
like calling you out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I use these different color layers because it allows me to change the lighting color if I like, which is pretty cool. It's pretty useful. You know what I mean? And we can do another vivid light. And then make this one like a rim light of some sort. But yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. I'm going to paint another painting right now too. But I'll just start with that in mind, and you can kind of see how I go about it when I'm just painting. But is there any other questions or even requests on things to paint?
Let's see. I have a pretty long question here.
Cool, go for
It
it.
says, "Hey, I'm wondering how I should transition my work from a student level to a more professional. How do I know when I'm ready to start looking for work and build a portfolio? When I'm trying to make portfolio pieces, should I focus mostly on making pretty paintings or practicing fundamental skills as well?"
I think that the answer to this question is just more about like you just got to keep making good artwork, obviously. And the solution in that is not to think that you have to just make pretty paintings. You just got to make good artwork constantly. And the way to go about that is to study and to practice. In fact, to think that you can just go straight to painting good from like brute forcing is actually kind of ridiculous. You have to actually study. You have to practice. You have to learn something, right? And then that will fuel your artwork eventually, right? You'll get better and better. It's not like you just say, okay, I'm deciding to just become a professional now and start making professional artwork. It doesn't work that way. You just decide that you want to be a professional, sure, but you just start to work on being a better artist, and the professional part just comes with time, And the more you practice, and the more you dive into that world of like studying like your fundamentals, the more your everything else just amplifies, right? So to really kind of answer this question in a larger sense, the best way that I could think of is that like you never know that you're going to be a professional until you're a professional, right? But I can tell you right now, the real difference between a professional and an amateur is that professionals usually finish their artworks. They usually have a polish to them, right? That most amateurs don't. Amateurs will see like a sketch done by like a really popular artist and be like, oh, that's all I need to do. And then they just stick to that sketch, right? And then they put the stuff on their website, and they're like, man, like now I'm gonna get jobs because I have like something very similar to that sketch that one artist did, right? And it's like, dude, that sketch is done by a professional artist, one, and two, it's like that's a sketch. Like you should see the more refined paintings that person may have done, and you'll realize how far you are away from actually being a professional artist. Because it's really easy to see whether you have it or not by just looking online and just looking at other artists that have jobs, and ask yourself the real honest question: is your work that good? And usually the answer will be obviously nah, not really, right? And so then you have a gauge of what you need to do to reach that level of job. Now, does that mean you can't get a job at all? Because like I said, like the only real difference is that polish. Because I know plenty of artists who are not super epic and really like some of the biggest names out there, right? But they got jobs and they work professionally, right? And it's because they have a really good way of taking their paintings to a nice polish, right? And that's really what it comes down to. It's just that level of polish. And in fact, that's what I usually like get my students to do, is to just get better at polishing their work, because that's really something that a lot of people don't do. They usually try to leave their artwork really, really sketchy, and they're like, I don't know what to do next. And I'm like, just keep painting. That's what you got to do next. And with that being said, you know, what bridges the gap between professional and amateur? Really, that's what it is. It's just like that level of polish. And now, whether you can work for Blizzard or Sony or ILM or some of these huge companies, that's a different story, right? Because then there's a very clear quality that you need to reach, a minimum requirement. When we were in Italy, someone was like, "How do I know when my work's good enough for Blizzard artwork?" It's like, well, is your stuff like, when you look at the Blizzard artwork, is it that good? And if the answer is no, then you're not ready. They're not going to hire you. You're going to have a harder time getting a job. Like, your artwork has to almost be like to the point where they can just bring you in right away. Like, you're ready to go. Like, you're already doing the quality of work that they're looking for, and all they would need to do is just sign some papers and then put you through that door. But if there's like still 2 or 3 levels left for you to accomplish the kind of work that they need you to do, then yeah, they're not going to necessarily hire you, right? And like the unfortunate truth about our craft, and also the fortunate truth, is that we can see whether you're good enough or not. Right? No matter what you may say to somebody, no matter what you might try to convince another person, right? Be like, well, like, I'm still a student, I'm still this, or whatever reasons that you have, they can see whether you're capable of working. Like right now, by just looking at your artwork. I like doing this test where I tell my students to go to like the art station, right? And pretend that you're an art director. Okay? And say that we're looking for fantasy, like fantasy game, right? Artwork. So looking at here, there's actually quite a bit that we can choose from, but only but not all of them, right? Like we can look at this mech one, which is really cool. I'm gonna like this and follow this. But like I look at this mech, and it's not like I can hire this person to work on the fantasy, Although it's really good artwork, it's not necessarily what we're looking for. Same with this. This might be good in terms of like a dark fantasy, but maybe this is not what we're looking for, But this right here, like this is maybe exactly what we're looking for. So then we look at this person's art and their portfolio, and we go through the notions, And on the flip side, if you go to like the latest, which is pretty much whenever and however whoever posts, a recruiter's going to have a harder time potentially finding the kind of artwork that they need, because just because it's fantasy now doesn't mean that it's good enough, right? And if you could see, if you still have a hard time understanding that, like I don't know what else to tell you. Like it's really clear, it's very clear, whether you got what it takes or not to work for specific companies. Like if you wanted to work for 343, there's a very specific level you have to reach before you can even think about applying, right? But you can always apply. There's no one stopping you from applying anyway, right? You can still go in there and be like, so what do you think, Bo? What do you think, Bo? And they can be like, it's garbage. And you're like, cool. Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Do you have any? Do you guys have any answers for that question?
What?
What's the question?
Never mind.
Hold on.
That's what
Sorry, I was typing. What was the question?
Exactly. I knew he was going to say
Don't
that.
worry about it. It's all right. We'll move on.
All right.
I think I answered it.
Okay. The next question says design armors for armor level. Wait. Hold on, it's stated different. Design armors for armor level progression. Good advice to a good approach. Do the high level armor first, then design low level gear afterwards. Cheers.
I usually start low and then go high. It's much easier, especially if it's supposed to be like one set, like a family of armor, because then you just add on more. That's the answer.
There you go.
What about you, Ken? Do you have any answer or Jens?
What's the question again? Say that one more time.
My God. Designing armors. So when you're designing armors, do you like to design like the highest level first and then work your way down if you have to do level progression, or would you rather like go the other way? Does that make sense?
So designing armor, like designing the big pieces, then working on the little pieces.
Yeah. Well, you do environment stuff, so how would that relate to what you do?
Well, I mean, I've done armor designs. I've done
Okay.
like skin stuff like that before. Yeah, usually I would. I guess the way that I do is I do it by like garment. I guess the way that I like to think about doing armor. So I kind of think about like designing the character first, like almost like just bare naked, and then doing the shirt, then the mail, then like the belt, the pants. So I try to do it like a layering process. So I try to think like how would the person actually put on the armor, and that's the way I personally like to design. But not everyone likes to do that because that can sometimes be like take a while. If you know what I mean?
Well, you sounds like you're taking a practical approach.
Yeah, because I'm not good at doing armor or like kind of like clothing design, that kind of stuff. Like I can't do it just like verbatim. So like for me, like I have to draw the shirt first, then draw the vest, and then draw the coat. So that helps me kind of break down like what I'm seeing. So that's just kind of, it takes me a little bit longer, but I feel like that's the approach that I like to take. So maybe that might help. So maybe think about like how is the armor put on? You know, not armor is like put on just one piece. Use this couple different layering. So I think that's a great way to kind of think about it too.
Tight.
Wrong. All right, next.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Okay. Are color theory values as important if you have very good line work? Let's say you can design really good from form with lines and then just throw a wash of color on top, or would that just be considered a certain type of style?
I don't think it matters. It all depends on who you're working for. Some companies are absolutely fine with just really nice line drawings. It just needs to be good design, I think, at that point. Like, if it's not good, then nothing will save you, right? But if it's, like, really, really good and the company's okay with that, like, then absolutely. But a lot of studios, especially AAA studios, are really into, like, photo bashing, like, photorealistic stuff. So you'd have to, like, find a studio that be kind of, like, understands, like, good line art and the value of that, you know? So that they can, like, truly appreciate your actual skill set. Because I know people who do really good line arts and stuff, but they have a hard time getting jobs, specifically for larger companies. In fact, I can think of a few, but they love where they're working at now because they work for smaller studios that totally understand and appreciate. Some of the big companies that do appreciate that kind of stuff would be like Blizzard and Riot, you know. But then again, that's like super stylized. So, or like Pixar or Disney, you know. But then again, like that style kind of helps, like it lives in that same kind of realm, you know.
All right. Next one says, how do you prepare for brainstorm?
For brainstorm,
Yeah,
like the school,
I assume so.
I don't know. Ask those guys. I think if you have reasonable skills, like I think you're good. Like they're a school. They're there to teach you how to become even better, right? So I'd say just prepare to get destroyed, maybe like mentally, like prepared because you're gonna be surrounded by other amazing artists and amazing instructors. So be prepared to find out that you're not very good. Maybe that.
All right.
But yeah, just message John Parker, James Fake. They're really good about responding to people, especially about their school. I think that even to their website, you could probably reach out to their support.
Okay. Everybody else is just saying what's up and thank you
What's
for
up?
streaming.
Yeah, man. You guys are welcome. I'm enjoying the streams. Yeah, I was slowing down a bit because I was feeling really bad the last few weeks because of the whole headache stuff. But now that I got these pain medications that work, narcotics. Crazy how they work. Works so well. But yeah, we're finally gonna get it handled. We're gonna go see the doctor again, the neurosurgeon, next week, and he's gonna schedule the what you call it, surgery. We're gonna go from there. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Oh, now there is a question.
Yeah, if you guys
is
have
there
any
a
other
s-
questions, feel free.
Is there a certain standard required to do your mentorship, Anthony? Do you review portfolios before taking on students?
No, I'm pretty good about just taking whoever and teaching whoever. The different levels of people. I was just talking to somebody today about that, and I was telling her that it doesn't matter what level you're at. I'm happy to take anybody on because everybody's at different levels, both artistically and mentally. Yeah, and even like personally, they have different things going on in their lives. So I keep all that stuff in count. I have some people that are really good painters, but they have a hard time managing their time. I have people who are great time managers, but they don't know what to do. I know people that are really passionate, but they don't have the skill. So like I just cater basically on person by person. So no, there's no requirement at all. Like you come in, and then I evaluate as the class goes on. I take a look at what you're doing in the class as the way to gauge what we need to do to improve your skills. That makes sense. 'Cause like I said, everyone's different.
And that's like the better way to go about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Traditional schools have the method of just everybody follow this curriculum. And if you can't keep up, you can't keep up. And rather than like really trying to listen to individual needs and finding how that person needs to improve on their own.
Did they remove your course from Learn Squared?
They did. Sorry, this is the second time someone today actually asked about that. Yeah, it's not there anymore. Too many things, too many places. If you want to learn from me, you just go to Robot Pencil. And that's it. Just go to my site.
Oh, I actually didn't know they removed it because I bought it.
Yeah, if you bought it, then you just have it forever.
Yeah.
So you
Interesting.
still have it, yeah.
Okay. We're getting a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, when do you have your surgery?
I don't know. We're going to find out next week. I'll let you people know. I'll post on Facebook when I know. So if anyone who's concerned, I'll let you guys know. And when I know too, like when the day of, when we know, I'll tell you guys too what's going on so people know exactly what's happening. Some people are like still curious or just like, what's going on, man? A lot of people like out of the woodwork, specifically like students and friends, including Jens. Is Jen still in this conversation?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
Should be.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, all right, man. Which is I'm very grateful for. I have a lot of really amazing people in my life, and they've been super helpful, very supportive. So I'll let people know. Like some of my friends, like you guys, have talked about what's going on, but I'll let everyone else know eventually. But it's mostly good news though. Like it should be all right. But like yeah, like I said, like a lot of people reaching out and just super helpful, supportive, and that means a lot to me. It does.
If it get removed, make sure to bring it back in a glass.
I should ask him if I can keep it.
Oh God, man.
I just wear it as a necklace. It's just a tooth. There's a tooth in my head. Tooth that got dislodged. It's just floating in my brain.
It's a good like charm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Though.
Wait, you said it was a tooth?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is that legit? Like
No.
crazy. All right. Kyle asked, "Have you seen the new Nintendo system? What do you think?"
Oh yeah, it looks cool. But I mean, it's impossible to tell these things, man. Like, I get so entertained by the reaction of people, both on the positive and on the negative. Especially the negative. Negative makes me laugh so hardcore, because like these people are these are clearly trolls revealing themselves, you know. For instance, the Red Dead Redemption trailer came out, and there's already people like, or not the trailer, just that picture of like cowboys.
Teaser?
Yeah, the cowboys on the horizon, right? Just the teaser, right? And there are already people online, right? I don't see any chicks in there. I don't see any female characters.
Oh,
Sexist.
God, for real?
And I'm like, are you serious, dude? Like, this is literally just an image, and you're already so mad. Like, calm down.
You know,
It's
I
okay.
didn't see any black people in it. I think it's racist.
You know what?
It's racist.
That shit is racist.
Boycott. Boycott it.
No, who cares if there's no black people or like women or whatever? It's like it's a video game, and of developers they can.
There are
make
no Albanians, bro. Fuck
Yeah.
this game.
I mean, we had our games.
Where are all the Muslims?
We had the 50 Cent game. It wasn't good. Okay, we tried.
No, we didn't. We did not make that game. we did not make that game.
It's the argument that I have is just that, like, you know, if you want a game that consists of only of one kind of person or like diversified types of people, then make it yourself.
Listen.
Or just make it yourself. Like, why you want other people to do something that, you know, it's like come on, you know. And by the way, it's like not a big deal. It's not like what you call it. Rockstar is like openly trying to be like, you know what though, we could have put a female protagonist in here and we decided not to, you know, because we're sexist. It's like, this is irrelevant. They're just trying to make a Western game, you know. That's it. And I think people are just get too caught up in that. It makes you laugh so hard because those same people that are trolling are probably going to buy the game and love it. And so it's like, ugh, you're just doing it because you just want to get angry. And same thing with the people who are super ecstatic about stuff. It's just like, again, how do you know? With this though, Red Dead specifically, we can count on it being great because, you know, Rockstar has a track record for making great open world games, and they've already made an open world Western game, which was the first one, and which was amazing, right? And so it's clearly going to do well. But like, for instance, the Nintendo system, this is going to be a little bit harder to say it whether it's going to be good or not, right? Because you have some great systems like the 64, and then, you know, the GameCube was really good, but then the Wii came out, and Wii was like deceptively bad. Like, people weren't sure yet whether they liked it or not. And then you had the Wii U, which was clear, like clearly they were trying to make more money, right? Oh, people want like peripherals, so not really. You know, they're just excited about the first one, and because it sold out and the hype was so big, that's why they kept selling out. You know. So they didn't really pay attention. And I think this time they're actually finally paying attention. But again, it's like impossible to tell. You don't know until it's out in people's hands and homes. But it looks cool. Looks cool. Like, it's a cool idea. You know, I'm usually relatively positive on most things. You know, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't think companies are trying to make awful products. You know, it's just you don't know until you get it.
All right. Kristen followed up by asking if they could do the course over Skype or would he have to attend in person? They live in UK.
Oh, it's all online.
Yeah. All right. Hey, AJ, you going to be at BlizzCon at all this year?
I'm going to try to be. We'll find out. We should see.
Rochelle said, hey, AJ, I don't want to bring down the mood, but I saw someone on Facebook upset at you, AJ, about the Heaven's Hell Kickstarter book and was wondering what was up.
Same stuff. People are just mad because I was being inconsistent again with updating, but I've been sending out refunds and I've been sending out books. So I think it's just the same people that are just very mad. And I think some of those people, too, I refunded their stuff, so they're still upset, I think, on the principle of it, that I'm, like, doing other stuff. You know what I mean? That, like, I am still teaching and I'm still, like, putting artwork out there and I'm still doing stuff. And I understand that, like, but, like, you have to understand this is my livelihood. This is how I feed my family as well as, like, something I really love to do, which is teaching. And I don't think even that mistake that I made is going to prevent me from continuing it. You know what I mean? And I think people really, like, there's some people that reached out to me that were very reasonable. They, like, emailed me recently, and they're like, you know, just keep emailing and posting updates. I think that's it. And I said, you know what? Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I don't know why I keep being stupid about that. So that's what I did. So I've just been responding to people, and I emailed everybody that emailed me. Some of them were pretty aggro, and some people were just really reasonable, you know, both on the front of wanting the book, you know, wanting to know when they're going to get it, and then other people who were very reasonable, even with refunds. They're just like, hey, can I just get a refund? And I said, yeah, of course. It's just gonna take time. It's one of those things until about that. There's nothing else to it. I don't know what I can do. I can't just drop everything, because then I'll be on the streets, right? And so this is the most reasonable thing that I can do, and this is what I have to do. Yeah, because I guess what happens is when people see that we're doing events, right? They think that we're just hardcore partying and doing all kinds of stuff. It's really not like that at all.
Popping bottles.
Yeah, it really isn't. You gotta remember,
as a person that organizes these events, no, we are not getting paid, and no, we are not popping bottles.
Yeah,
I wish.
It's genuinely people bring us out there and we talk, and we don't get paid for these events. You can talk to any of the people that go to these events, and it's just how it is. We're not we definitely hang out and we definitely party with the students that are there and stuff like that. But it's clear, I remember even the last day they took us to an Italian restaurant, the students, and it was a thing that they wanted us to take us out to, which was great, and we were helping them out and giving them good advice on how to make it in the industry, stuff like that. And it's funny too, whenever anyone asks, I went to an art gallery and someone was talking to me about Kickstarter, and how did you go about your Kickstarter, and can you give me any advice of that? And I was like, to be honest, I'll be the worst person to ask for advice on how to do a successful Kickstarter, because I did not succeed at that, right? Not at all. I was like, but if you want to know how to become a good painter, you want to know how to become a good character artist and concept artist, that's something I can definitely teach, right? But in terms of doing anything else, in terms of the Kickstarter stuff, yeah, don't ask me, man. I'm still trying to figure that shit out. I failed. It was bad, and I've never hidden from that fact. I've been pretty open about it.
Yeah. Well said. Moving forward, what is your look at this guy asked? What is your thinking process whilst painting this character?
Make it creepy. That's really the number one thing that was going through my mind the whole time I was doing this. It's just, how creepy can I make this? And I like this brush. This brush is really hard to paint with. But what I get in return, the kind of texture that is coming, is pretty interesting, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, but yeah, it's mostly just try to be creepy.
It's funny to hear you admit this brush is hard to paint with, but I'm using it anyway.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's
cool.
A challenge, and it's a good challenge. It's not it's not hard that I can't do something with it. Obviously, I'm doing something with it.
Well, yeah.
It's just hard in the sense that I usually can paint anything really with the round brush. So it's just a different workaround.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch you paint with something so texture based, and then it gets smooth, your magic.
Yeah,
all right,
thanks.
Moving forward. Rochelle said thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like I said, people get upset, and I've tried my best to try to appease a lot of those people. And it's they can have the refunds, and I think I have about 7 people queued still. I still have 7 refunds that I need to get out, but I've given out refunds to about 100 people at this point, right? And then I've sent out almost 200, almost 300 books, right? So it's I'm almost at the halfway mark of getting this completely behind me, right? And so I don't know what else to do. I just let them yell at me, And I think a lot of times, it's behind the curtain type of stuff. No one knows what's going on, and they just assume. You watch movies and you just see movies and you think it's like that. This person's clearly a scumbag, and he's out to get us type of thing, or he's really stupid. It's really simple. I was irresponsible, and that's it. And I'm still being very irresponsible with the whole thing. It's that simple. It's really that simple. And it's not anything other than that. I'm not trying to if I really was afraid And if I was really a scoundrel, then I wouldn't do any streams. I wouldn't even post artwork anymore. I would stay hidden, you know?
Yeah, to go hide.
But that would mean the terrorists win, right?
That's why I don't change my cat's name.
Yeah, no, like it's because like, you know, I do more than just that. Like I'm not defined by that one mistake, right? It's a huge lesson, though, a really big lesson in my life, and I really learned a lot from it. But I want to be defined as someone who helps others achieve their goals and stuff like that. And some really successful Kickstarters now that make books, they took lessons from what I did, you know, and they're like, okay, we know what not to do, and it's pretty kind of awesome to be a part of it, at least in a very negative way, but at least in some way helps others understand what they should be doing. Because I think it's just because I'm pretty well known amongst the community, so it's easier to just kind of flag me down, you know. Because I assure you, there's plenty of other people that have the same circumstance happens with them, but nobody's talking about it because they're not as popular, right? And they're not open with their persona. Yeah, nothing's going to change. I'm going to still get the books out and send out refunds, and then I'm going to keep painting and doing streams. It's just how it's going to be. One thing that has changed, though, I will be updating pretty much as often as I can on the Kickstarter page. Kalen told me this before. I just was stupid. Just never listened to Kalen. Kalen's like,
What?
just post
What?
often. Yeah, you remember you were like, just post often, dude. That's all. People just want to know that you're there. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I just don't post for like a month.
I can
and you're
attest.
just like, you're stupid, dude.
Well,
And
it's
I'm
more
like,
so. Yeah, I look at you and I'm like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
No, it's just. I mean, you take it from me. I mean, I work on the project Liege, right? And Liege, we started that in 2012, I want to say 2013, with a very ambitious goal of like doing it in a year. And granted, I'm not really doing anything. It's mostly John Rhee. But you know, fast forward to 2016, it's still not done. But people have been very, very supportive, just because we try to just be as open as possible. Like, listen, like these things take time, and we had to John had to kind of change a lot of things about the system and the gameplay, which makes it better. And we've always come from that standpoint of just kind of just saying, hey, like these are the changes that are going to happen, and yes, it's going to take longer, but we don't want to release a product that isn't going to be good, because that doesn't serve anybody any issues. And so yeah, there's some unknowns we run into, but every time we have an update, the game looks better and better, and people just like the honesty about it. So they're just like, yeah, as long as you're like just kind of keeping us in the loop, then we don't give a fuck. So I mean, we're like 4 years late. And some people are like, what the fuck, right? But most people are just cool because they look at it 4 years ago and how the game's evolved. It's looking way better every single time. And so I think that when it finally comes out, people are going to be like, dude, that was worth the wait. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just a thing of just trying to do your best to kind of stay as transparent as possible, which I'm not saying that you're not doing, but it's definitely hard to kind of keep track of that stuff. And even we're kind of behind on updates every now and then because we don't have anything to update. We're just like, well, we're working on stuff, but it hasn't been anything worth showing like quite yet, because otherwise we're just updating to update, and we don't want to do that either. But we definitely try to, like, every couple months, you know, give a big update and show what we've been working on, and hopefully show progress. So I think if most people show progress and show that you've been sending out the books and doing the refunds, people will kind of ease up. But then again, there are a lot of people too that are kind of keyboard warriors that will just say some fucked up shit, but then they see you in person and they would never say any of those things. So
Yep.
those are trolls too that are just like, they'll write the meanest shit, but in person they would never have the balls to say it to your face, which is kind of funny to me as well. So I'm
That's
like,
the
to me,
internet.
I'm a very big, you know, the way that I grew up or the way that I was raised was, you know, don't say anything like online that you wouldn't say to someone's face. So that's a big thing too. But you know, trolls, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But
well,
yeah, man.
let's be clear. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think these people are trolling me. Like, I want to be 100% clear. Like, a lot of the people that are coming at me have genuine criticism. So
Oh, no,
I just
for
want
sure.
to be very clear.
Yeah.
on
No,
that.
I'm not talking
I'm
about
not
that.
saying any
Just
of these people
in general.
because I even wrote to a lot of these people. There was one really long one that we got when we were on our what you call it? What was it?
Yeah,
Our
and it'll-
layover.
yeah.
Our layover.
Yeah,
in
Istanbul. Yeah, I told you about
even,
that.
Yeah, because even Kalen's like, hey, look at this. This is like a really long email. Like, man, like people just still upset. And I was reading, I was like, you know, but this is good. Like, this is genuine. Like this person's not trying to like kill me, you know. He's just making a point. And I even wrote to him and I was like, you know, thanks for that, you know. And like I said, like and I made it very clear that I don't really think that way of the people that write to me. This, you know, I think a lot of the people that wrote the stuff they did would be able to say the stuff they say to me in person because it's just true, you know. And so there's only one instance where someone came out and they weren't even a backer of the book or even anything. They just came out and were really aggressive, but then that recessed a while ago. And that was probably the only time where I was kind of like, that's pretty mean, you know? And
That's mean.
yeah, it was, man. And but other than that, it's generally been fine. I've been like okay with a lot of the criticism. Like I could take a punch, and so yeah, I want to be clear too for anyone who's like wondering like who are these people? I want to go get them. It's like no, don't. Like they're right. You know, I'm on their side. I agree with them.
Coming for him.
Yeah, no, I agree with these people. You know, I do, and so that's the way I see it.
Oh, show.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
just Kalen's
And
right. I just stupid, just negligence. It's just stupid of me.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there's some other stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you using happy accidents to find form?
Yeah, with this one especially. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What is influencing your design decisions?
I like a lot of like Barlow, and then I forget the other. His name is Beninsky or something like that. It's like super awkward to pronounce, but his stuff too. And then obviously a lot of modern dudes and artists, but they don't paint like this. Just people in general that run through my mind. A person that does kind of paint like this, Adrian Smith, is running through my mind. But usually, whenever I paint, I imagine like all the people that I love and appreciate, like looking over my shoulder and be like, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And being like, okay, well, what would you do? And then hearing that inner voice of them kind of talking over my shoulder and then just trying to appease them. But the best parts of what I love about their work, and that's kind of what I believe makes someone their style, is by, catering to the best parts of their influences. You know, not necessarily like that person said to just paint this way. It's just like, no, it's just, this is what I like about their paintings, and this is what I'm putting into mine. I believe that's what makes people's original, like that's what makes original work original. Yeah.
If you had to name this piece, what would you call it, just off the top of your head?
I'm not going to call it anything. I'm going to give it to Kalen. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. It's just painting, and then I've been doing classes, and in the classes I've been doing demos, and in the demos I just paint these weird stuff, and then I would pass it to my buddy Kalen, not this Kalen in the chat, but a different Kalen, and then he would go and write like this really elaborate short story, which is really cool, and then we just go from there. So I'm not going to name it, just because I want to leave that to him. It's his job.
All right, coming from the standpoint of an amateur, how do you strike a good balance between 1, study, sketches, form, anatomy, and 2, polished work and getting any type of a following?
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry.
Okay. Coming from the standpoint of an amateur, how do you strike a good balance between 1, studies, sketches, form, anatomy, and 2, polished work and getting a type of following?
Oh, I do both. But I mostly focus on studying. I think studying is the most important thing to do, especially if you're starting out. Like, you should spend all your time studying. Do you think Kobe Bryant just played basketball, and that's what made him the best basketball player? Right? Like, no, he did drills. He did. He studied other players. He studied the game. You know what I mean? And now he could probably just play basketball, right, and get better because he's at a whole different level. But at the beginning, he didn't. Right? He had the worst 3-point game in the start of his career, and then he's like, nope. And then he worked at it, and next year he was like killing it. Right? And it's just because he sat there and just practiced his fundamentals and making sure that his 3-pointers were epic.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Kobe Bryant?
Oh, you're talking about his playoff performance. Okay, sorry, I was in the other room.
When he first started, he was really bad at 3-pointers. He wasn't.
Yeah, he
his
was.
first
It
his
wasn't
first
wasn't
year.
necessarily that he was bad, but he was definitely young. I mean, he suffered from the issue of he was definitely really good in high school, and he went straight to the NBA, not doing college. And when he got to the NBA, he just kind of struggled a little bit. He just wasn't used to that high level of play. And then
But
when
he,
he
like,
was getting
grinded.
playing time, yeah, he was making mistakes. And one of his most notable mistakes was missing three. He airballed three, I think 3 or 4 shots in the fourth quarter of a playoff game, which actually led them to be eliminated. And then I remember he talks about it, that said that night he remembered that felt really shitty, right? Because he was supposed to be this guy, supposed to bring the franchise to a new level, and obviously he shot like 3 or 4 air balls. So he went to the gym that night. He went to a old gym that he used to go to, and then literally asked the janitor to open the gym up, and he shot all day, literally, like he shot all night. And then the next, which is funny because the team that they lost to in the playoffs, that was their first game the following year. And so literally he was very excited. So he worked all over the summer. And then when he came back, he just fucking destroyed him. And,
Yeah,
you know,
and that's the
and I,
point
and
I'm
I,
trying
I
to make.
don't think I don't think if he would have failed, if he hadn't have failed that situation, and if he wouldn't have had all the criticism, I don't think Kobe would be who he was today. So I think it's through the failures he got to where he was at. So
And the kind of getting back to the point too is that he trained in the thing that he was weak at, right? So that when he came back, it's like the Super Saiyan chamber, right? He was just like working in 1,000
Oh,
gravity.
hyperbolic chamber.
Yeah, and he came back with 1,000 gravity training, right? And shows up and like destroys. You know?
yeah,
You know
exactly.
You know, like One Punch Man, right? They're like revealing his secret, like why he's so strong, and he's like, I just do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 pull-ups, and I run like 10K every day. And they're like, there's no way that's true, you know, as like a workout regimen. Well, it's obviously a satire. It's kind of like making fun of the whole idea
Right.
of training. But it's kind of true. Like he just kept to a very simple regimen, you know, very fundamental, and that's why he's like the most epic. It's like it doesn't have to be something crazy, you know. You don't have to have something that is like.
It also goes to show too. Example of sports is that even when you get to the pros, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna be successful at it. You still have to work extremely hard. You know, some people get that kind of mentality of like, oh, I have a job now, I'm good. It's like, no, just because you have a job or just because you are now popular doesn't mean you get to kind of lay back on it. You still have to keep working hard, because there are plenty of awesome artists that will take your spot if you get too comfortable. So
be compliant.
it definitely is hard. And even if people do, you know, kind of you know, undervalue you or underrank you or whatever term you want to use, it's definitely up to you to either just, you know, say they're right or improve upon it, you know. And that's exactly what, you know, going back to that basketball thing you were kind of referencing back to what Kobe Bryant did, because literally, you know, all the sports people, all the newspapers were like, "Oh, this guy's overrated. He's not the truth." And he's like, "All right." He's like, "Not this time, but you know, but it's like I'm not the truth right now. I'm not good right now, but just give me a year, right?" Andrew said, "Just give me a year, bro. Give me a year." And he became really amazing. And there are plenty of really. That's why I always use like sports as a great example. You can look at someone like Steph Curry. If anyone ever wants to learn about this, just look up Steph Curry's like initial report when he first came into the NBA, like his like initial like draft report. It's hilarious because they talk so much shit on him. Like, they're like, it literally says, "Do not rely on this person." It literally, like, I'm not even joking. It literally says like, "Do not rely on this person to lead your team to a championship." It's like very, very specific. It's like, what? And of course he wins a championship. And they're like, so where did that come from? And it's true. Like when he came in the NBA, he wasn't that good, but he worked towards it, and then he became who he is now. But it's just really funny that his first draft report, like people just had all these negative things to say about him, of why he couldn't do what he could do, and literally all those things that were bad, they are now not problems anymore because he worked on it. And so it's just funny, you know. So people undervalue you. They could be right at the time, but no one knows what's inside of you, right? No one knows your resolve or your perseverance to eliminate those weaknesses.
Tight.
Tight, tight. All right, I'll take a few more questions. Or how many more questions do we have?
Let's see. I think there's like 2 or 3, maybe.
All right, take those,
Maybe
and
less.
then we'll call it a day.
When you were starting out, did you have a hard time determining the quality of your own work?
No, not really, because I can always look at other artists and be like, oh yeah, I suck, because that person's so much better than me. And I also had other people remind me how bad I was, like recruiters to other artists, like my friends and stuff like that. So there's always someone there to kind of remind me, like, you gotta step up your game. If it wasn't me, it would either be like someone like Kaylin or Edgar, or just like my teachers that I respected. But like whenever you go to like an art like mixer or like an event and you show it to a recruiter, that's also a good reminder. So I would always think that my stuff was really good until I showed it to somebody, and then they'd be like, "No, you're not good at all, man." I'm like, "Oh, damn it!" And so, yeah, it's I don't think it's too difficult for me, but I'm speaking for myself.
I don't think it's. I mean, you kind of know. I think it's one of those things where a lot of people kind of just get in denial about it. They're like, is my stuff good? Is my stuff bad? It's like you kind of know deep down whether you're working hard or whether you think your stuff is good enough. And I think you just have to admit that if it's not good enough, then to find, take the proper steps in order to kind of improve your work. Because I mean, I think when we were in school, we always knew our work wasn't amazing, but we accepted that and said, okay, our work's not amazing, but it can get better. So we just have to keep working hard until it gets to a point where, people are offering us jobs. But I don't think we ever worked and we're like, dude, our stuff's the shit. It's just because we were so involved in the community and because we kind of looked up to the pros so much, we could recognize what good art looked like, and we knew that we weren't doing that yet. So I think it's a big thing too of just kind of accepting if you're not quite there yet, and accepting the fact that it's going to take some time. But I mean, we were in school and we definitely knew that we were not like Phil Hale or like Nathan Fowlkes or Carlo and stuff like that. Like we knew very clear we were not those people. But that was okay. It was like, all right, in time.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to skip one. Darko asked one. Let's see. How do you get texture feeling? How do you get texture feeling that you have in your paintings? I seem to lose them every time I start polishing, cleaning.
You just got to get in the habit of doing it while you paint. You just got to understand like, specific methods. Like there's a crosshatch method that I use that I learned from storyboarding. But yeah, it's just got to be part of your process. Whether you're using texture brushes from the beginning or you're using texture techniques in your painting. But yeah.
Okay, Jose asked.
What was the other question you skipped over? Was it just like a simple one?
That was the one.
Oh, like with Darko's
I went back.
question?
Yeah, Darko. Anyway, there's one below his I was about to ask too. Will those books from people that got refunds? Will they be offered to other people if interested?
Yeah, sure. I'll probably sell those at like cons and stuff like that. But I'm only gonna do that as soon as I get all the books out to people that already got it. I'm not gonna sell those until I have officially got done. So you're gonna have to wait, and they are gonna be special though because they're like hardcover. The soft if you don't want to wait, the soft cover is already available online through DSP, like Design Studio Press is the people who published it, and they sell it. So a lot of people. That's one of the main reasons why people got mad too. They're like, "Oh, what? Selling it?" I'm not. They are. And they have every right to. But once it's all said and done, I will have some extra books available, and with those books, I'm going to definitely, take the cons and stuff. But like I said, not until I'm done, because then that way it's like it's genuinely like there's no one else to be waiting around for it. Right, and then those who get the special versions will get them after the people who already deserve the special versions got them.
All right, 3 questions popped up in the last moment. You want to lightning round them?
Sure.
All right. Oh, now 4. That one's too long. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, I'll just ask it anyway, and I'll just try to lightning round all this. But no more questions from that.
No more. Okay, well, let me type that out.
Jens, you still here?
That's me typing.
No, no.
Oh, Jen. Yeah.
Jens has just been hanging out. He's just spectating. He's just,
Yeah.
just hanging out.
You could have chimed in.
Yeah. I feel bad.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, don't have to say anything.
Jens is so humble. Cool guy. Is it harder to find work if you only have realistic work in your portfolio?
A better way of answering that, what if it was? You know, change your whole style. Don't adjust your work's flow and style based off of what other people told you or what you think the industry is looking for. Just do what you want to do.
Do you, boo boo?
Yeah.
Do you?
No one else is going to walk your shoes for you, right? Walk in your shoes for you.
Okay. Rochelle said, before we head off, how do you take feedback from a teacher that you don't necessarily respect? Because my uni teacher has been out of the industry for 10 years.
Yeah. I'd say just take every advice you can. You know, it's still advice, but just be practical and just think about why they would say that. You know, like get to the bottom of it. Don't take it personal. Like just try to think like why would they? There must be a reason, and if there isn't, then you say, well, there wasn't a reason, and then you just let it be and you move on with your life, right? Because I had plenty of people in my life give me feedback that I didn't believe they should have, but I thought about it and I was like, oh, you know, well, this is probably what they're trying to say. For instance, when people told me that being a character concept artist was very difficult and then I should try to do 3D, you know, what they really were saying is that my work was bad and they just didn't have the heart to say it, you know? And if they would have just said that, you know, maybe I would have been ready for it either. But other people did that.
Yeah, just because someone's out of the industry for 10 years doesn't necessarily mean that they are totally detached. Sometimes they still have more experience than you, chances are. So, you know, more times than not, there is information worthwhile. You just have to open your mind to it. You know how it is sometimes if you don't like someone, even if they do say something really, really profound, because you don't like that person, it kind of like filters into this kind of situation of like what that person is saying is stupid. Try to kind of look at it objectively. I mean, we look at our teachers like Mike Tracy. I mean, he hadn't been in the industry for a while, but he was still giving amazing knowledge and feedback. So, I mean, if you don't respect the person, if you don't like them, that's fine, but you should try to respect their opinion or know about where they came from. But chances are, even if you don't like them, chances are they can always give you some kind of nugget of information if you keep your mind open to it. But like AJ said, just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, not every school is going to have the most amazing teachers, but sometimes they have something within themselves that you can extract from them that can help you, you know, throughout your art journey. So to try not to be like so negative. I mean, I used to be like that.
Yeah.
It's like stupid, whatever he says is dumb, right? And then it's like, then you kind of look back at it, you're like, actually, you know, he wasn't a bad person. Like, I probably should listen to him more.
Well, yeah, I just graduated, so I'd say, from what I saw, be careful. Be careful with getting in a position where you keep like denouncing people's critiques, even if you don't necessarily like the person or like their work, because I saw students get to the point where they couldn't take anybody's critique because you'll like close yourself off and think everybody's dumb, and then that makes your work.
Yeah. I mean, like, I still take critiques from like students to this day. You know, people to me on DeviantArt ArtStation, and they're like, I don't like that, and I could just say, well, I'm a professional, fuck you, right? I look at it. I don't look at their experience or their resume. I just look at what they write, and if I think that it is useful or if it's worthwhile, then I will take it. You know, I don't have this kind of like, you must have this many badges to like give me advice. You know, like anyone can possibly offer good advice no matter what level. So it kind of goes vice versa. Just the same way that you give advice, the same way you receive advice. Don't try to look at it as, oh, he's been out of the industry 10 years, so whatever he says is not valid. You know.
All right.
It's kind of strange because my girlfriend also critiques my work, and I think no, I want it that way. And then I show it to the client, and I get almost exactly the same critique.
Oh, hey.
And she can't paint at all. And I think if people are not professionals, they also had an opinion that is worth hearing because they have this customer view of products.
There it is.
There it is, man. Jen's dropping knowledge.
Yeah.
All right. Arlen asked, "Hey Anthony, should I learn 3D Coat if I want work? My friend working in the industry is saying that it's not useful learning 3D Coat now since it's not used in the workflow nowadays."
Yeah, it is.
Remember, that's like your friend saying that, right? It's like his
Yeah,
opinion.
even if it's wasn't like, there's plenty of examples of people who do use it, love it, and yes,
Yeah,
of course they
extra
do.
cheap.
Yeah, and it's like, again, if you want to learn it because you see some value in it, then learn it. If you don't see any value in it, then don't learn it. Don't just do it because it might get you a job. Do it because you think it's gonna be awesome, right? And then the jobs will come naturally.
I mean, Jama's getting work, right?
Yeah, and he's like,
There are people that use 3D Coat.
The funny thing is that 3D Coat has been popular like long before Jama like kind of made it
Blizzard
like
used
kind
it,
of
right?
mainstream because like a lot of Blizzard artists, a lot of people use 3D Coat for texture painting, literally to paint their characters. So like Tyson Murphy is the first person when I first discovered it when I was in school was through Tyson Murphy when he was doing like texture painting stuff, showing how he paints his characters. So to say that no one uses it, that's kind of silly because last time I checked, Blizzard is a small company, right? They do all right? They do
Yeah.
some.
Well, I mean, the 3D Coat's still around and it's making money, so
Yeah,
someone's using it.
it's like
Alright.
Silo. You're the only person,
Yeah, that definitely no
Well,
one's using.
yeah, that's different.
right?
Except for me. Anyway,
Okay. Alex said, question: what should you do if you're running out of money to go to art school, but don't have time for a job because you work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and bank is not cooperating for a loan? Should I quit and make art at home? I'm in a 3D class, but I specialize in concept art, and like to have the tool at home. Any suggestions? Sorry for the rant. Really confused.
I think you can learn however you need to. I think it's really important for people to understand that you can basically learn almost anything nowadays, just as long as you have access to the internet, right? And so whatever your circumstances are, trust me that there's people out there that have it much worse, and they still find ways to learn what they need to learn, right? And so you just gotta keep this in mind. I always tell people, like, don't think of all the reasons why you can't do something. Think of all the reasons why you can do it. There's like that javeliner that came from Kenya. Like, he's like a world champion javeliner, right? He's in the Olympics. I don't know if you know this, but Kenya doesn't have javelins. Like, they don't sell them. Like, you just can't go to your local store and get javelins. Like, he had to make his own javelins, and he learned all of his training too. They don't have javelin coaches out there. He learned all of his training from watching YouTube videos. You know what I mean? So if there's a will, there's a way. Obviously within reason. And what I'm suggesting is within reason. Like, I don't see, like, whatever your circumstances may be, you may live with your grandparents or something, but as long as you have the internet, you can figure it out. Right?
You have internet if you're watching this.
Steve, yeah, you have internet. Steve Jobs built Apple in a garage, right? So I mean, it's possible. Don't worry about it.
That was the last one.
Cool. It's the last marks I'm gonna do on this painting too. All right, thank you guys for hanging out and chilling with us. Appreciate y'all. I'm starting to get a headache. I need to probably take my meds again. Ugh. I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna go swimming with my son too. Hang out with him for a little bit. But peace out, friends. Appreciate y'all. I enjoyed the conversation. Great moderation. Great hanging out with you, Kalen and Jens, and Mike, and everybody else. Peace out. Have a great few days. I probably won't stream till next week because I got class and then I got family stuff. So see you guys next week. Peace out, friends.